it's been a very, very difficult year in the financial markets. So I think it's good that the year is coming to a close. Hopefully we'll have bigger and brighter things to look forward to next year. We'll talk about that on tonight's live stream. But, I wanted to talk about some inflation metrics tonight. Now, we're seeing a lot of the leading indicators as it relates to inflation actually come down quite substantially. And as you know, I sort of built a data miner, web scraper that will look at all the listings as it relates to rentals across specifically Miami-Dade County, Nassau, Suffolk, and even Kings County, and pretty much all the 5 boroughs in New York. And rents are actually coming down. Rents are coming down. Other markets coming down, I would say, more substantially than others. But look, looking on the bright side, that is some good news, right? Depending on who you're talking to, I guess, maybe not as good for landlords, but I think for everybody else, we've been getting banged over the head with rent, ever since the, COVID has sort of subsided. A lot of the rental forbearances have been lifted. It's pretty much been gangbusters in the rental market. So to see things come down is rather inviting. I'd say we'll talk about that, some of the key specific markets, and we'll also talk about some pain points as it relates to inflation too. Now, it's not all good news. We are seeing inflation roll over in some key metrics, but other metrics are still giving us some difficulty, and we'll talk about why, as we sort of relive the supply chain. Tonight, everybody, we are actually going to be going into Times Square. I know that may sound a little bit uncharacteristic of this live stream, but I think it's appropriate to do so. It's going to be kind of cool to see everybody setting up for the big day. Almost in 2 days, I think they are going to drop the ball right over here in Times Square. So we'll be taking a walk, checking things out, seeing all of this setup. But until then, let me close up my laptop. I'm wishing you guys a fantastic rest of your, I would say, business year, right? Tomorrow is really the last day I think anybody's going to work. And then we'll get started. Yeah, Julius has loved the whiteboard. It's actually a double-sided whiteboard, by the way. Hold on, let me show you guys. Just gotta put my laptop back. All right. Now, a little bit of a bear market bounce in the market. We've been, talking about that to sort of watch out for that. There was some stocks that had a little bit more of a bear market bounce than others. Here you have a beautiful view of St. Patrick's Cathedral. And if you look all the way in the distance, you could actually see just the top of the Steinway building, Stairway to Heaven. And then look at all the tourists lined up outside of the Saks Fifth Avenue still checking out the light show. I must have heard that light show play from this office probably about 1,000 times today, but I think it's pretty good. It only happens once a year. And then well off in the distance is the Rockefeller Center ice skating rink. And then obviously you see UBS and 30 Rock right in the back. So let's head downstairs, everybody. We will get started on the live stream. Thank God it's not freezing tonight, as it was pretty much on every other night. Now, this is a unique WeWork here. There's actually 2 floors. It's sort of like a loft. This office actually looks out over the downstairs, which is pretty unique, kind of cool. Now, during the day, the views are insane from these windows that sort of sweep across the entire office. It's pretty unique, pretty cool. All right, let's head out. I see Roy S. What's up, Roy? What's up? Says Tom, in which part is the office? I would say Midtown, more towards Midtown East, I would say. I think somebody's moving in on this side. I'm not sure what company it is, but if I turn these light off, check this out. This is actually going to be, I should say, Jamie Dimon's brand new office building. You could see it under construction with the American flag here. This is going to be the brand new JP Morgan Chase building right there on Park Avenue. You could see quite substantial traffic actually building up down there too. But it's kind of cool to see an aerial view looking into the brand new construction here. Usually we see it on the ground floor. It's kind of cool to see it from above. Anyway, let's head down. We'll get the stream started. Hopefully you guys had a good day today. I see By the Book. What's up? Good to see you. Mustafa, Julia M. Welcome everybody. Vinny Castellano, Nexus NYC. Says Tom, how was the dim sum? I would recommend it. Hold that thought because the internet is about to go out, but I'll fill you in, I promise. Oh man, does that feel good? Guys, I think it's like 50 degrees out tonight. It feels really, really nice here on the ground floor in Manhattan. We are once again standing directly outside of the Saks Fifth Avenue building. Zada is here, says, hey Tom and everybody, good to see you. Richard Vogel says, lovely floors. Thank you so much. It's Tower 49. Really nice, WeWork office. Very seldom do I work out of this one, but I think I'm going to start working here more often. Kathy Lyons is here. Good to see you. Joseph Hardaway, welcome. We're finally in the home stretch, everybody. We are approaching the end of the year. It's going to be nice to start off with the clean slate because, man, this year it was a crazy year, wild year, not only on Wall Street, but just in general. I mean, just think about everything we've been through. City. So we'll see if we could even get into Midtown here. Who knows? Ton of tourists out. So many people. Let's try to avoid this area because of the buffering. Hey, photos from around New York says, which are the top 2 WeWork spaces that I've been to? It's actually a really good question. Let me think. I'm gonna give you the top 3 because the 2 of them are cutting it really close. I'll give you photos from around New York. I'll give you the top 3. Now, my favorite one is actually the one in Brooklyn, near Greenpoint. That one's really, really nice. Number 2 is probably the one that we were just at. And then number 3 is the one in Brickell City Center. That one is insane. Really nice outdoor space too at that one. Now, team, tonight on the live stream, as you could tell, so many tourists. Everything is barricaded off. Everybody's getting ready for the big day. New Year is going to drop the ball. So I think I want to go through, well, I don't want to, but I want to try to go through Times Square to sort of see the behind the scenes of them setting up everything. I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun to do. So maybe we'll start on that way. Nina is here. Julia M, welcome. Evan Weeks says, I think my current office is about to start hoteling instead of assigned seating. Very nice. Can't wait to start my new gig in New Jersey. Love that. Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember, even at my old company. Well, I guess I did. I had an assigned cubicle. But I think I've been getting used to these WeWork spaces. Now, I think WeWorks is a good deal. I mean, it's super affordable, and you can pretty much work wherever you want, which is nice. Hey, the Mighty Bull is here. What's up? Just watching, listening, and learning. Good to see you, the Mighty Bull. Hope you had a good holiday. Myra King is here. Good to see you, Myra. Maybe we'll head down a little bit more just to get out of the crowds. You could see so many people. I feel as if everybody pretty much took off this week. I mean, Midtown Manhattan has been so packed. almost every single day, obviously leading up to the New Year's holiday. I think once Christmas hits, everybody just calls it a year. Hey, Richard Vogel says, I've learned quite a bit since I've been subscribed. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much, Richard Vogel. I appreciate that very much. Jimmy Boyles, Dan Zhang. Welcome, Dan. Good to see you. So we'll do a little bit of a quick recap of what happened today on Wall Street. Now, a little bit of a bounce, but honestly, to be expected and really nothing to write home about. If you look at a lot of the individual stocks on the street, really quick, I want to point out, this is the Diamond District, or the start of the Diamond District. You could always tell because the two light posts here are actually in the shape of diamonds, jewels, whatever you want to call it. This is on the corner of 5th Avenue. Maybe we'll actually walk down the Diamond District because, if anything, the Diamond District is actually quite dead after 6 p.m. All of the exchanges and all of the jewelry shops actually closed down around that time. Now, I had a buddy back in college, not to ramble on too much, but I had a buddy back in college whose family actually owned a little bit, not a whole jewelry store, but like a little booth over here. And sometimes when, high profile clientele, like celebrities or something like that would want to shop, they would actually do their shopping after hours, right? So they would come in on special hours, like 8, 9 o'clock, do their shopping so they wouldn't have to be amongst, a bunch of people, taking photos of them and stuff like that. Check this out. This is the NYPD's mounted unit. These guys are awesome. Now, the NYPD's mounted unit, these things look massive. I'm not sure if the stream really does it justice, but they're almost taller than the cars. You see that? Pretty cool. Hey, the ABX girl is here. This is quick hi. We'll stay for a bit. A lot of holiday calls coming in. ABX girl, good to see you. Hope you had a good Christmas and wishing you a very happy New Year. Meld, good to see you. So the market today, what I was gonna say, oh my gosh, I gotta show you guys this though. This is a really nice view of One Vanderbilt. Now you'll notice they demolished this entire building. They're probably gonna build some mega super tall skyscraper. But every time they demolish a building in Manhattan, it almost gives you a bird's eye view or a look into what Manhattan used to look like way, way back in the day when all the buildings were in super mega talls. It's kind of cool to walk down the block, see everything built up, and then just one pocket where it's completely empty. I actually kind of like that. Hey, Julia M says, Tom, it's going to rain New Year's Eve. So sad for the ball drop. Oh, man, that is really bad. How bad is it supposed to rain? Or is just a little sprinkle? Hopefully it's not going to be like insane winds and downpouring rains. I really, really hope not. Look, I'd rather... Oh, it's going to pour. Oof. That's rough. That's rough. And it's been... Well, at least it's not going to be super cold, right? Could you guys imagine if they dropped the ball and it was, 10 degrees out like it was last week? At least not that. So here's a bullion dealership, a gold exchange. Bullion exchanges. Hey, there's a bull over there for the mighty bull. Now, I don't know, maybe predictions for next year. Do we think precious metals are going to have a big year in 2023? I was on a call with one of my friends who runs a small to medium-sized hedge fund, and he was talking with some friends. Hold on, let me see if I could zoom in on this. And he thinks that gold is going to have a pretty good year. I don't know. What do you guys think? Jay, what's up? And we should be able to head right down into Times Square. But once again, this is the Diamond District. I don't think I've ever really showed you guys this. Now, obviously, during the nighttime, they take all of the jewels out. Julie M says, I am bullish on gold for 2023. Frank Gonzalez, good to see you. Yes, this is Tom. The New York City temperature should be getting some relief by tomorrow. It feels really nice out tonight. It feels really nice out tonight. Probably like, I don't know, around 50 degrees. So we'll do a quick market recap. Now, the markets have really been selling off very aggressively here. So some of the main stocks that everybody talks about, such as Tesla, a lot of these big mega caps that have really been getting bombed and getting hammered over the course of the past 2 to 3 weeks. You know, we were talking very briefly yesterday about the potential for these very vicious sort of snapback, short covering bear market rallies. Now, if you take a stock like Tesla, right, I think down now over 70% from record highs, look at the extension here from the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. This is some really gross extension to the downside. So I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if you get a couple days in a row of a short covering rally, you could get burned with this. So if you are involved in, maybe you've built the short position in any of these companies over time, you know, these things are very extended to the moving averages, and there's something called a mean reversion trade, and usually the stocks will tend to revert to the mean. So I don't think it would be too bad of an idea to maybe seal in some profits on your shorts. This is the subway station. I actually took this today to go down to Chinatown. I had dim sum for dinner. It was fantastic. I took the D train all the way down to Grand Street. If you get off at Grand Street, that is pretty much the main hub in Chinatown. But right here, 47th, 50th Street, Rockefeller Center, you can get the B, D, F, and M trains. Hey, Cosmo, what's up? Yeah, Cosmo, I did see that. So how does that work now? So it's the first legal marijuana dispensary in New York. So you can just go in and buy marijuana and you don't have to have a prescription for it, right? It's totally legal. How does that work, if anybody knows what that is? But I think it opened in the East Village, did it not, Cosmo? I think so. All right, now we are Avenue of the Americas. All the way downtown, you could actually see the very beautiful One World Trade Center. Hey, Mighty Bull, what's up? Richard Vogel says 21 and over. Got it. Sleazy Easy says it's recreational use, so anybody 21 and up can buy without a med card. Medical is 18 and up. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, definitely a historic moment for New York. Now, I think you guys sort of know my take on that. And it's changed over the years. And I've referenced a professor that is very well respected here in New York. Actually teaches at Columbia University, Dr. Carl Hart. You know, I support the legalization of marijuana. I think it's it could be one of those other venues to garner tax dollars. So I think it's going to be very lucrative for the city and the state. And maybe down the road, if you know this thing is successful, maybe everyday New Yorkers could get a little bit of a tax break and offset it or subsidize it with you know, some of the marijuana sales. You never know. Sparks Carnival says Netflix got a double upgrade to buy from sell. Disney was up over 3%. I'm still not bullish on streaming for 2023. Does anybody agree? Yeah, I mean, Sparks Carnival, you make a good point. And we may have talked about this before, but I think it's a good conversation. Now, anytime we talk about streaming specifically, right? You think about Netflix, you think about Peacock, Disney Plus. You know, you get the picture. We could go on and on and on naming all of these streaming softwares, or I should say platforms. And it seems as if it's a very, very crowded market, right? So does anybody remember, and I think I may have provided the link in the Nightbot, I just forget what the command was, to be honest. But if you can find it, I'm going to try to find it for you guys and maybe link it in the Discord or something like that. It was an amazing interview with Jeff Bezos talking about a first mover advantage. Now, in Jeff Bezos' case, he was talking about Amazon AWS, which is the very lucrative cloud computing unit of AWS. And Amazon really had a big first mover advantage in cloud computing. Now, I think Netflix had the same thing, obviously, as it related to streaming. But then what happens? You have all other people coming into the market, crowding it, and it sort of sucks all the alpha. It sucks all the alpha out of the industry. So it's a very capital-intensive industry to keep spending on new content, right? Very risky industry because you never know if one of these shows are going to bomb. So I don't know. I mean, Sparks Carnival, I think I may have to agree with you. It just seems like it's way too crowded. Mike C says, I remember Netflix mail-in DVDs. I remember that too. Okay, who remembers this? Does anybody remember the Red Box? I think they may still have Redbox. I think I may have seen them still. Hey, Flat Smack, good to see you. All right, so we are now headed into Times Square. Seems like it is very crowded tonight, but it's a warm night. Oh, you know what video I'd like to recommend to everybody? There was a really, really well done, I think it may have been Fox 5 News, really well done video showcasing the new Penn Plaza. So the brand new Penn Station, not the Moynihan train hall, but everything. That includes the Moynihan, the new Long Island Railroad terminal, and all of the brand new office space that should be complete maybe late 2027. You guys need to see that because that's going to make Midtown Manhattan look completely different. I'm excited for it. Hopefully there's a WeWork office there. I'd love to give you guys a tour of that. Oh, Sean D is only in the lower income areas. Are there the Redbox? Nexus TV NYC says Redbox is still active in New York. I think I've seen one at the 7-Eleven in Long Beach, but I don't know who in their right mind would ever use that anymore. Hey, Western Mass Dave, what's up? Says hello, Tom, and all fantastic people. What's up? Well, here we are, team. This is a little bit uncharacteristic for us on the stream, but we are here in Times Square. We have built up the mental fortitude to come here, but in all honesty, it's kind of nice. It's nice coming here every once in a while. Now, we're going to try to walk around the red steps here, and you'll be able to see the main stage that they're building. And so when you're watching, you know, the, what is it called? New Year's Rocking Eve or something like that? You'll be able to see exactly what you're looking at. And that is right here. You can see the setting up everything. It says Planet Fitness. Now, Planet Fitness is a publicly traded company. The ticker symbol is PLNT. and you could actually just see the top of the Empire State Building here. Talk about an amazing marketing for Planet Fitness. Now, the story of Planet Fitness is actually really amazing, and everybody originally thought that Planet Fitness would automatically fail because they're like, look, it's impossible to charge people $10 a month for a gym. You would never make any money. But they actually use data science and analytics to run algorithms and build specific algorithms for, hold on, let's get out of the little pit here, to see just how many people actually utilize their gym memberships. And what they found is that, look, if we can sell 10 times the amount of gym memberships for $10 a month, even though our gyms have about a 300% capacity, we can probably still run and operate a ridiculous cash flowing business, even though we sell 10 times the amount of seats that we actually should be, because most people do not go to the gym after they purchase a membership. So pretty interesting. That's really how Planet Fitness got its start and became so successful. Here we have the main stage here. New Year's Eve, Times Square 2023. I can't believe it's already 2023. Hey, Dan Zhang says, Tom, Planet Fitness has a brilliant model. For $20, you could visit all the locations in the United States, but they know 99% of the time you're only going to visit one location. Yeah, you're spot on. Or you're not going to visit any at all, right? It's a really, really good business. Hey, Matthew M says, happy pre-2023. Thank you, Matthew. Jimmy Boyle says, a lot of countries have outdoor gyms free to use, mostly warm countries. You know, I've actually noticed a lot of that in Florida too. Now, they're not as robust of a gym. Like, it's not like you could start throwing on the heavy weights on the bench press, but you can get a basic workout, I guess. So this is looking uptown, everybody, 47th Street. If you continue up Broadway, you'll actually run right into Columbus Circle, where we were yesterday. Nina says, New Year's resolution. Peeps promised to work out. Only lasts 1 month, then they quit. Yeah, I think it's a testament to the Pareto principle, right? 80-20 rule. This is the Barclays Investment Bank, which was actually used to be Lehman Brothers before they collapsed. Richie M, what's up? Richie M says, I feel old. I turned 26. Dude, 26, you're a little kid, man. Little kid. Once you turn 27, that's when you start getting a little bit old. Mike C, there's a lot of full-time RVers use Planet Fitness for showers. You know, I've also heard a lot of truck drivers that do cross-country, very grueling, obviously cross-country truck driving. They have $10 memberships to Planet Fitness so they could shower, use the gym, and I think it's a pretty good idea. Hey, Evan Weeks says, I'm turning 43 here in a few days. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Wishing you many, many more, and God bless. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get through here, team. Look at the sea of people here. Okay, now we are headed southbound on Broadway. I think we may make a right because it's a little bit too crowded here.
Oh, it's a guy.
Okay. All right, let's duck down here. And we will try to get out of all the crowds of people. Take a walk down Hell's Kitchen. Hey, Brad's Brains says my dad is 78 and he's still as young as 17. Love that. Tahoe 814, good to see you. Now you notice all of the heavy equipment here. One of the main lead standout stocks for 2022 has actually been Caterpillar, ticker symbol CAT, trading near 52-week highs, performing rather well. This is where they have the Hamilton show. I have a really funny story about Hamilton. I've told you guys a million times, but I almost got fired over Hamilton. This was back in the day when Hamilton just came out. Does anybody remember the craziness when this, I guess you can call it a show, right? When this show just came out, people were paying thousands of dollars for tickets to see this thing. Hey, sunshine after rain, happy new year. Donald, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, Deborah says it's a musical or a show. Good to see you, Deborah. Welcome. Sally is here, welcome. Yeah, Krog Dog says Caterpillar is up, new construction is up. I think that has to do with a lot of the, let me just navigate around here. A lot of the fiscal and government spending. A lot of the Inflation Reduction Act, you could say. A lot of that is going to go to infrastructure projects. And earnings, you know, I think this is a good teachable lesson, right? So take a look at the earnings block. I wish we could do a screen share live here. But take a look at the earnings block at Caterpillar. Also a dividend payer, if you will. Here's the Church of Scientology right here. I think like Tom Cruise and all those guys belong to the Church of Scientology. Hey, the LT Prod is here. What's up? Vivian says Orlando, Florida has a lot of new construction. You know, a lot of people, and I've never been to Orlando. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've obviously been once when I was a little kid. Isn't that where Disney is? But I've never been when I can remember it. But I don't know. I don't think I would ever move to Orlando because for me, the main value proposition of moving to Florida is to be by the water, right? To be by the ocean. And I'm not a big fan of sort of being landlocked, if you will. I mean, if you're going to live in a very, very humid climate, you might as well live right on the ocean. Hey, Bonnie Hudson says, hello, Tom. Hope you're having a good night. Thank you so much, Bonnie Hudson. I hope you're having a good night as well. Thank you for joining us on this very busy night in Manhattan. Crazy night. A lot of people, a lot of tourists, a lot of honking, a lot of sirens. Everybody's going crazy. Let me actually take you guys by one of my favorite restaurants in this city. It's called Becco. It's actually right down this street here, West 46th Street, in between 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue. And all the way down here is the Port Authority bus terminal. One of my least favorite places in the city is the Port Authority. If you could stay away from that, you are golden. And then this will lead you right back into Times Square. And then all the way up here is Columbus Circle. Paul Meddy's good to see you. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention tonight on the stream, we've been talking a lot about inflation, right? As we know, we've been talking about the CPI, the PPI. Inflation is coming down and rolling over. Now, one of my biggest criticisms as we talk about inflation has been the main categories that I think really impact and affect the average American are acting really, really sticky, right? Number one, shelter costs. Shelter costs is about 33% of CPI. And shelter costs has remained very, very heavily elevated, okay? Number two is food, right? Now, the Federal Reserve, it is true, the Fed likes to put more weighting, put a little bit more credence on the core CPI, which excludes food and energy, as they deem those two things very volatile. But have you guys noticed rents are starting to come down? Rents are starting to come down all over the nation. This is what you call Restaurant Row right here, right off of Times Square. Very famous place, and located right on Restaurant Row is one of my favorite restaurants of all time, and that is called Becco. We're actually about to walk past it in, I don't know, maybe a minute or so. But I've built a little bit of a sort of like a bot that will automatically scrape a lot of the data from Zillow, right, as it relates to a lot of the rentals. Now, I've been mainly focusing on Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Nassau, Suffolk, and also Manhattan in New York, right, the surrounding boroughs. Look at all these Christmas decorations here. And long story short, you are just starting to see some rents come down here, and actually quite substantially. But here's a little bit of a nuance that I've been noticing, okay, from the data that I've been pulling. The rents that are coming down, I should say, we're going to use general terms here, okay? The rents that I'm seeing that are coming down the fastest tend to be the more luxury style units, so to speak. Not really the middle of the pack, middle of the road units that the average American can afford. So for example, a lot of the single family homes that were beautiful, right on the water in Miami, Florida, in Broward and Miami-Dade County that may rent for $20,000 a month, those are the listings that are dropping $1,000 to $2,000. But in the sort of the middle of the pack, where maybe it's a very modest one bedroom, one bathroom, or a studio apartment, we are seeing price reductions, maybe of $25 I see, or something like that, but not as drastic as the ultra luxury market. Now, you could even look for this for yourself. I mean, look in any very nice neighborhood in Florida or even here in New York, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Anything above, I would say, $10,000, either $8,000 to $10,000, you're seeing the steepest price declines. Hey, Nina says 100% agree. Mid-class and lower rents are the same. Increased 10% in July of this year. Brutal rents in Southern California. Yeah, I mean, Nina, you make a good point. This is Becco, guys. Oh my gosh, we may have to end the stream and get something to eat because this place is phenomenal. I'll show you guys the menu, but here's what I recommend. You ready? I'll tell you. This is what I recommend when you come here. You got to come here, all right? And you got to get the unlimited pasta, but before the meal, okay? You got to get the antipasta. Don't get the salad, I'm telling you. Get the antipasta, and you are going to have a fantastic time. This place is great. I'll give you a look at the menu, though, just so maybe if you don't want to get the unlimited pasta, you can check out some of the prices, see what you like, see what you don't like. But pretty good. I'll tell you this. So if you come here, you get the unlimited pasta. It's going to run you about $28, which is very affordable for Manhattan, if you guys know what I'm talking about here. So very, very affordable. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a peek into the dining room. There's, I guess, technically 3 main dining rooms. There's one all the way in the back where I personally like to sit, but there's also a second floor right up here. And I'll give you a shot of the restaurant row. Now, Becco used to have outdoor dining, but you could see how narrow the street is. So just picture this in your mind, right? Becco used to have a lot of outdoor dining setups here. They have it across the street, but look at how narrow the street is, even with all of these outdoor dining shacks taken down. It is really, really narrow. So could you imagine if there was an emergency, FDNY, an ambulance has to get through? It's not happening, pretty much not happening. But some of the more robust, I would say nicer outdoor dining sheds or shacks are still here. Yeah, Preston W984, so I'll have to look up their menu later. Check it out. And I mean, it's a really, really affordable place, and it's a good place too. Lydia is the owner, founder of the restaurant. And it's not too much of a bougie place where you have to get all super dressed up and, you know, there can't be, you know, anything out of place. It's like a family, it's like you're going to your grandmother's house, you know? It's very, very nice. All right, enough. We're not going to plug Becco anymore. All right, maybe one more time. I'll show you guys inside the dining room. You could see the bar there, really, really nice. And all the way down here is the main dining room with the main bar. But I don't think you'll be able to see it because, yeah, all the doors and everything is blocked. But a lot of people in here. All right, let's continue to walk through Hell's Kitchen. I don't even remember the last time we've been here. If we keep walking, you'll hit into something called DeWitt Clinton Park, which is a big park, big athletic field right across the street from the Mercedes-Benz building. And that's actually where we used to have a lot of our practices when I played soccer back in the day. Yeah, Steve CR says it's bigger on the inside, and there's an upstairs too. There's an upstairs dining room that's really nice. All right, 9th Avenue. Haven't been here in a while. I know, Western Mass Dave, that's another thing. Yeah, Pele passed away today. That is insane. Greatest soccer player of all time by far. I think he passed away of cancer. Really horrible. Hey Raj, this is Tom. What are your thoughts on the New York rental market? Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of the price declines, and we'll sort of take a deeper dive into this. Kind of got distracted by Becco. But a lot of the price declines that I'm seeing right now tend to be in the luxury sort of market, especially above like $10,000. So any of the rentals that were priced, let's say, you know, $12,000, a lot of those you could probably get for 10 and negotiate. But, and this is sort of a lesson that someone much smarter than me taught me, is that, you know, the run-of-the-mill, I would say middle-of-the-pack rentals that the average person working an average job, you know, normal people like me and you and a lot of people watching the chat, well, I don't want to assume anybody's net worth, but you get the point. Those are in extremely, extremely high demand, right? So I don't think we're going to see much of a wiggle there. And if you're thinking about purchasing a rental property, or if you're thinking about purchasing a single family home, if you're thinking about long-term price appreciation, oh, this is a cool view of the Deutsche Bank towers from the west side. Usually we always see it from the east side, but we're taking a look at it from the west side. You always want to buy not at the top of the market, right? So if you look at a neighborhood and you pull all of the data of the comps in the neighborhood, right? You never want to be the most expensive house in the block. You'd never want to be the cheapest house in the block. You sort of want to be just a tad under the middle, right? Because let's say if you're looking at a property or something like that, and you buy a piece of property and everything is done, okay? It's got renovated, everything is brand new, all the plumbing is new, then the price is pretty much, everything is built into that price. And there's no way for you to improve the property or make minor improvements to get a very big drastic ROI. You kind of want to look for something that, is not a total dump, right? If that's the line of business you're in, if you're in construction or something like that. But you want to look for things that the vast majority of people would find as a pain in the you-know-what. But if you put a little bit of elbow grease in there and take off all your weekends for, the next 2 years and put a little bit of work in the house, you can significantly add value to that property to maybe make that property go into the upper tier of the neighborhood, right? So to sort of summarize my point, especially I'll give you an example in Florida. When the markets were trading near 52-week highs, everything was going fantastic. A lot of these mansion-style homes, right on the Intercoastal, right on Biscayne Bay, were renting for $25,000, $20,000. You're seeing big drops in those type of properties, to the tune of $3,000, $4,000. And the same thing here in New York City, but if you want to get a regular place, maybe 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, I think the bare minimum you're going to pay is $2,000. I think it's almost impossible to get a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment anywhere in the tri-state area for under, if you do a really, really good job, you're probably looking like $2,200. Evan Weeks says, I'm seeing a lot of fixer-uppers in New Jersey that are selling for the same price per square foot as move-in ready homes. Wow. So what part of New Jersey are you looking at? Are you looking in? This place has a lot of bars all the way up and down Hell's Kitchen here. All right, let's cross and then head down. We'll see if we could whittle our way back into the Times Square vicinity without too much tourist pressure. We'll see. Hunterdon County. Okay, north of Trenton. But I don't know, what are you guys seeing in your markets? Are you seeing rents come down a little bit? Because that's what I'm seeing in the data if you look at Zillow. I would say especially in the single family home rental market. A lot of, I don't really want to characterize and just say institutions in general, but a lot of institutional buyers bought up a lot of single family homes, thinking that they could just, rent them out without any downside pressure on rents. And I'm starting to see a lot of those unravel, not necessarily in the Northeast though. Here's the interesting thing. If you look at the data, the Northeast is actually holding up very well. And so is, I would just like to summarize and say, so is the entire East Coast, actually, stretching all the way down to Florida. What's taking a big beating is actually the West Coast. And if you remember back during the 2008 financial crisis, what were the main markets that took it on the chin the most? What was the most drastic price declines? Well, I don't know the exact order, but here were some of the markets that took the biggest hit in 2008. Miami, Florida, Orlando, Tampa, Florida, Las Vegas, Arizona, very many markets in Arizona. Phoenix got hammered, got crushed, right? And if you think about a lot of these markets, a lot of sub-markets in Texas too, but if you think about a lot of these markets, who were buying in those particular markets during the run-up to the great financial crisis. They were used as first, second homes, people spending and splurging. But now we're sort of seeing the same thing play out, exclusive of Miami, Florida, which is a little bit interesting. I mean, Phoenix, Arizona is taking it on the chin. Denver is taking it on the chin a little bit. But the whole East Coast of the United States is actually holding up better relative to the West Coast. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. And you know what? I'll add another thing and then I'll stop rambling. That is actually a contrarian thought, is it not? Because I want everybody to think back. Oh, real quick, I gotta shout out the FDNY. Love the FDNY, all the firehouses here. Engine 54, Ladder 4, Battalion 9. Love that. Think back to the pandemic. You were getting hammered every day about, New York State is in the toilet, it's never gonna come back. And look, the data's showing that the Northeast in general and the whole East Coast of the United States, stretching down to Florida, is holding up better than the West Coast. It's just a fact. Hey, Adventures of Mr. V, this is Tom. I love your streams. Hello from Staten Island, New York, right across the street from Verrazano Bridge. Hey, that's awesome. Good to see all of our Staten Island friends. Welcome. Hope you had a good Christmas and wishing you a very happy New Year. Hey, little Larry Sellers is here. Good to see you. We're gonna try to get back to Times Square without being too crowded. I want to be GMO says, don't think I'd ever live in the Northeast. Too many ticks. Yeah, I mean, especially out in Suffolk County. A lot of people. I'll say this because I think it's actually pretty important. Now, obviously, the Hamptons is a big, big destination for a lot of celebrities and also big hedge fund guys on Wall Street. And if you're not from Long Island, like myself, you don't really know the dangers of the ticks out in Suffolk County, especially in little towns like, oh my God, man, that guy almost got clocked. Jeez, I thought that guy was gonna run right through him, or her, or whatever. Oh, yikes. Yikes. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, man. She has a sword. How is she allowed to walk around with a sword? Anyway, so way out east on Long Island in Suffolk County, there's ticks and a big tick problem. And you can get Lyme's disease from that. And not a lot of people know about it. My cousin actually had Lyme's disease, and it is horrible, horrible, horrible. You actually never get rid of it. And many celebrities, when they go out and party in the Hamptons, they hang out in all the sand dunes and they get bit by the ticks and they get Lyme's disease. And it's a serious thing. It's horrible. Well, I never walk down this street. Some really nice looking buildings. Yeah, Nina says, wow, never knew that about the Hamptons. You really got to watch. You really, really have to watch. And I think the main reason why the ticks carry the Lyme's disease is because if you think about the deer population on Long Island, they have nowhere to go, right? It's not like they can leave the island. They'll run right into New York. So they're pushed all the way out east, and they're living on top of one another, and it's not a good environment for them. So they carry Lyme's disease, and a lot of it. Not a lot of people know about it. So now we are approaching the northernmost side of Times Square. This is actually outside of the Morgan Stanley, very big investment bank. And everybody here is in line for the Krispy Kreme donut place. It actually smells really good. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams roughly 5 days a week, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Wow, Dr. Longus is my brother, got it in northern New Jersey. Crazy. West 49th Street headed north. Hey, FredX is here. What's up, FredX? Good to see you. Barry Bell, thank you so much. You do a great job as well. I appreciate you being here. Nicholas Thuris says, hey Tom, housing prices in New York City are outrageous. Like a decent home in Staten Island literally can cost up to $1 million. Yeah, I mean, anywhere in the 5 boroughs, it's going to be extremely, extremely expensive. Very, very expensive. And not only that, not only the cost of the home is very expensive, but the property taxes too are extremely expensive. Check out all the very interesting and classic, beautiful architecture on this, the Playwright Bar here. Wow, Vivian says, Tom, the Krispy Kreme in North Miami Beach was my hangout when I was a teenager. It's still there, very awesome. You know what? I don't drive past, but I go past that Krispy Kreme all the time. It looks brand new. I'm surprised it's that old. Now, I'm not too far away from there. I'm not too far away from there at all, so pretty cool. All right, here we are, everybody. A little bit of Wall Street history for all of you. This is the Barclays Investment Bank. Now, if you remember back in September, we actually did a dedicated live stream talking about the great financial crisis and the collapse of Lehman Brothers. And if you Google and look back at all of the very famous photos of Wall Street during the great financial crisis, you'll actually see that they were taken right here, 745. I think this is Broadway or 7th Avenue. And when Lehman Brothers went under, Barclays Investment Bank actually took over their main headquarters, took over the real estate here. Now, Barclays is a British investment bank. Wow, S. Flores is Tom, Caroline's Comedy Club around the corner there is closing after 30 years because the rent is too high. That is horrible. You know what else is a travesty? That I think it's sort of like a perpetual cycle here. The property taxes, and it's not just exclusive to New York, so I don't want everybody to think I'm picking on New York. It's all over the nation. And, you know, people want to talk about, you know, we need to tax the rich, you need to have a wealth tax. We already have a wealth tax, pal, and it's property taxes, and boy, do I pay a lot of them. If you continue to hammer people with ridiculous amounts of property taxes, and if you're a landlord, you're not going to eat that, okay? You're going to pass those property taxes on to the tenants. And a lot of good places are going to start to move out or be forced to move out. I think probably the most notable one is the Carnegie Deli. which is now out of business, which I think is actually up here, not too far away from here. Or I should say was, I should say. Steve CR says me too on the property taxes, I know. Richard Vogel says, Tom, I pay $14,000 in Suffolk County. You got a good deal. Now, these numbers may seem crazy, but it's true. I mean, you could just look for yourself. You know, if you buy, a modest home, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on Long Island, either in Nassau or Suffolk County, those are the property tax bills you could probably expect, $14,000 up. Which, if you think about it, and look, I was going to buy a place on Long Island, but the property taxes erodes all of your equity in about 30 years, right? You would have all of that equity erosion. So it's not an investment. It's not a good investment. I mean, unless you can really beat your tenants over the face. But I think they need to do something about that, or you're gonna have just a ridiculous amount of vacancies. And does anybody remember 2 nights ago? Oh, this is Bobby Van's, a good steakhouse too. Not better than Del Frisco's though. Del Frisco's is better. Now, does anybody remember 2 nights ago when we were walking around the Upper East Side? What was one of the main things that we've noticed there? We're gonna do some impromptu market research here. What is one of the things that we've noticed on the Upper East Side walking around all of those very, very high-end boutique shops? Anybody remember? It was the overwhelming amount of vacant retail space. And here's why I think that's happening. Oh, look at all these pastries here. Now, here's why I think that's happening. If you take a walk on the Upper East Side, you'll see all of these very, very high-end upscale boutique shops. And I think the most well-capitalized boutiques, let me see. Okay, I think we're back. But just notice all of the names of those boutiques who were in business. And they tend to be the big, big luxury names. So here we are standing right outside Radio City Music Hall. Looks really beautiful tonight. Hey, John is here, good to see you. Sabrina Fair, good to see you. Nina, this is exactly what's happened several years now in Southern California. Retail shops are empty. Who can afford to pay such ridiculous taxes and not make any profit? Yeah, and I mean, it forces the landlords to raise the rents. I think that's the biggest thing. And in New York, talking about New York, it's heartbreaking because some of the best places in New York, and a lot of the New Yorkers watching this could attest to this, are not the chain restaurant brands. They're the small bodegas, the small mom and pops that have been here forever, 90 to 100 years. Those are the places that are the best, right? And it seems like a lot of them are going by the wayside, unfortunately. Hey, Robert is here, what's up? Hey, Beyond the Matrix is Tom. The last time I was in Radio City was 1977. Oh, it was a Puerto Rican, I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Alex, why? Amazon and the brick and mortar stores. Hey, Beth Collier's here. Says property taxes are up in Dolly Parton County. At the foothills of Smoky Mountains is $850 a year for a 3-bedroom home. Oh my gosh, what a deal. Could you guys imagine owning your home free and clear and then only having to write a check for $850? That's a blessing in itself right there. You know, I never understood that. I remember when I was a little bit younger, and you know, you could tell, I forget it was a very famous saying, but it goes something like this. It's like, you could tell if a rule is ridiculous if you tell it to like a 3 or 4 year old and they just physically cannot believe it. And property taxes is one of those things for me. Like when I was a teenager, like very, very young, 13, 14, I first learned about property taxes. I was like, wait, I can own my house free and clear, but I still have to pay $14,000 a year just to live in my house that I already own and paid off? And the answer is yeah, you do. It's crazy. It's just a crazy, crazy concept. But I think we've talked about the idea here on Walks in Wall Street of canceling property taxes if you're over the age of 65. I think if you're over 65, you know, the government has to sort of back off because you're in retirement, you've worked hard to pay off your home. You know, enough with the blood sucking, you know, bloodthirsty government. All right, let's try to head up towards Billionaires Row. There's usually less buffering because there's less people up there.
Are you near the bank? I see a bank in there in front of me.
Alrighty, let's head up. You know, now that we're on the topic of real estate, we did get a lot of real estate data out this week. We heard from the S&P Case-Shiller Index, and home sales, or I should say home prices, are on the decline. Even though on a year-over-year basis, home prices increased about 9.2%, I believe. We're just starting to see massive deceleration month over month over month, which is actually very good news. Here we have MOMA, very famous museum, right here in Manhattan. Yeah, Derek Hammond says, Tom, New Jersey property taxes are horrible. Agreed. All right, let's get out of here. Chris Beeman is here. This is good evening, Tom and everybody. What's up, Chris? Thanks for joining us on this rather warm Manhattan night. This is the main flagship Hilton Hotel. I actually took you guys through there a couple nights ago. I think we're buffering like crazy tonight because a lot of the tourists are here. Let's try to make a right on West 55th Street. That should break us out a lot of the, or get us out of a lot of the touristy areas here. Hey, Rat Fink is here. What's up? Good to see you. Now, speaking of these big investment banks, Did anybody hear the news coming out of Goldman Sachs? Now, Goldman is supposedly going to lay off about 8% of the workforce. But here's the question. Now, usually Wall Street bonuses are paid out when? March, beginning of March, something like that, depending on which bank you work for. Now, if they fire you in January, I don't think you get your bonus. Now, I don't think the investment banks would be that cruel-hearted to do that to people, have them work all year and then stiff them out of their bonus. I really don't think that's going to happen. So they announced these layoffs, right? They announced about an 8% workforce reduction. So hopefully they do that after March so they don't stiff people out of their year-end bonus. I mean, that would just be almost downright evil, I would say, in a way. But we'll see. NJB, you're actually right. Yeah, police radios can interfere with cell signal. Now, I remember, do you guys remember we were doing the live stream? And I forget it's like a very famous week when almost every single world leader is in Manhattan. I forget the name of the week. But we saw this huge motorcade of, I think it was a lot of the South Korean diplomats coming down. And all the internet went out at the same time. Like totally went out, no bars. I think they actually used those jammers, the interference. Hey, Tariq Khan, thank you so much for your $20 donation. This is thanks, Tom, for the Professor Demoderan tip. I'll have to dig deeper. Yeah, wow, Tariq Khan, very cool. Yeah, so I'm trying to read the comments best I can. We're on this horrible streaming software because Prism Live is still down, which is crazy. But thank you for your very kind donations. I appreciate you guys. You guys help us keep these streams going. Okay, here we are, coming up on the Peninsula Hotel. Really beautiful here. Stephen Bate, good to see you. I love what they did with all the Christmas ornaments hanging down from the lobby here. Hey, color and chat with Joanna to show the lobby. Okay, if we're allowed to, we'll definitely try to show you guys if we don't buffer. Wow, look at how nice it is. All right, hopefully we don't run into any internet issues, but here's the lobby of the Peninsula Hotel. Very beautiful here. But check out the chandelier amongst the amazing crown molding at the top. So much detail, fantastic. And here's the main Christmas tree as you walk up the stairs. Yeah, Western Mass Davis, like the ceiling is beautiful. It's fantastic here. A lot of interesting detail. I think the architecture is pretty unmatched. Now, I want everybody to think back to last night's live stream when we gave a little bit of a tour of the lobby of the JW Marriott Essex House. I think you can gauge some similarities and differences as well from those two. Let's see if we can walk up the stairs. Maybe we'll be able to get in here. Try to give you a view from this angle. We'll take a look at the chandelier one more time. I think my favorite thing, aside from the chandelier, is just the amazing crown moldings going all the way around, the amazing detail. Well, let's see what's down here. Looks like you have the lounge. Maybe you can get some cocktails or something like that. Here's where you check in, main lobby. Now this is my favorite style. As you notice, like the deep red type wood. It reminds me of those old modern, or I would say those older Wall Street offices. All of the dark, I would say, very dark. What is it, mahogany? Maybe not. I don't know the exact wood, but one of my favorites nonetheless. We'll check out what is on the other side. Looks like this is the entrance to a restaurant. Cherry Oak. This is Western Mass Dave. We won't go up there because people are dining. We do not want to disturb them. Yeah, Western Mass Dave's like Tom's Future Library. That is one of my goals, is to build a real library with all those built-ins, sort of like what they have at the Morgan Library, if anybody's ever been there. All right, let's head back out into the outside world, team.
Hello, my friend. How are you? Oh, it got warmer.
I'm good. All right, let's head over to the St. Regis. Hey, FredEx's amazing lobby. Thanks, Tom. Thank you, FredEx. I think that was my first time in there as well. Really nice. We're back on 5th Avenue East, 55th Street. Let's go up one block since we have the light. Hey, what's up? Oh, thanks for watching.
Hi, what's
Appreciate
up?
it. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you guys.
Yeah.
Enjoy the city. Happy New Year. That's cool. Thank you for watching the stream. We appreciate it. Some cool viewers. Thank you so much. Here we have another horse and carriage coming down. Now notice the difference between these horses and the ones we saw at the very beginning of the stream, the NYPD mounted unit. They're probably about double the size, the mounted unit horses, wouldn't you say? Hey, JTJ, this is Hey Tom. Celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary today. Oh my God, God bless you, my friend. That's awesome. I think that's a massive, massive achievement in and of itself. Wishing you 25 years more. Longer than that. Now that we're on the topic about real estate, there's 2 units for rent in this building right here. Both of which I think are renting. One is for $7,500 and the other one maybe $15,000 a month. You guys could look at it for yourself. But there is one. What was that? But there is one that is technically off market, but it's for rent, if that makes sense. It's on the 44th floor. It's more of an outdated unit. It's never been remodeled. Amazing view, by the way, of Central Park. And it's renting for $5,500. Pretty good deal. Now, then again, I know what people are thinking. $5,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment, not a good deal. But, I mean, if you're living here on 5th Avenue, you have all the amenities of the Trump Tower. You can use the International Business Center. It's a pretty good price. If you don't mind all the, I would say, original 70s style decor in the apartment. And you have a iconic staple address, which is 721 5th Avenue right here. Hey, Eduardo, good to see you. This is Hey Tom watching from the Philippines. Good to see you. Hey, Roland YT, what's up? Good to see you. Now we might as well check out 432 Park Avenue since we're so close. Wow, Pond Viewer. This is the former Gucci HQ in London, is currently listed for Whoa. So where is that? If for somebody who doesn't know London, maybe which district is it in? Now, speaking of all those high retailers, high fashion places, the new richest man, or I should say person, whatever, on earth is the founder of LVMH. Elon Musk is no longer the richest man on earth now that Tesla's stock price is down about 70% from all-time record highs. Caught a little bit of a bid today, but I think it's nothing but a dead cat bounce. LVMH Moet Hennessy, that is another company that's firing on all cylinders, performing really, really well. Luxury market. You have One Vanderbilt here. We'll cross over to 432. '56th and 2nd Avenue. It's right here. They called the cab to go to 56th and 2nd. It's right here. Well, I guess if you have the money, might as well. Hey, Cash Videos says, thank you for the live streams and these walks. It makes me feel energized and hopeful. Love that. Should always feel energized and hopeful. Very happy you're here. Now, I would say this is probably the most controversial building here on Manhattan's Billionaires Row. It is 432 Park Avenue. We are standing directly outside Just think about how tall that is. Now, one of the main criticisms of this building is that during major storms and high winds, in your apartments, you could actually feel the building sway back and forth, but the building's actually designed to do that. It actually has to do that. Another thing, though, is it's extremely loud as the building shifts. And sometimes the elevators actually are inoperable if the building is swaying back and forth too much, because you can't operate the elevators if the building is bending and creaking. I think there was an interesting New York Post article about this building. Many of the residents are suing the developers for all the major problems. They've been having floods, electrical issues, everything like that. Hey, E. Smith, what's up? Says Tom, it looks like a nice night out. It's a really nice night. It feels about 50 degrees. I think it's a little bit colder than that, but finally we're not walking around in 10 degrees. Hey, Natalie's here. What's up? Says it's 2023 and New York City is still using emaciated horses. Emaciated horses. If lazy people are using Rombas, why not robotic horses? Well, I think a car is technically a robotic horse, right? But good to see you, Natalie. You can see the MetLife building all the way in the back. And that is where Grand Central Station is located. James Tropical says, are you excited for 2023? I'm so excited about 2023, you have no idea. The amount of opportunity that is in front of us is just insane. I'm actually almost shaking just thinking about all of it. 2023 is going to be a fantastic year. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic year. And this is how I'd put it into perspective. But let's look at some of the interesting artwork here first. Here's how I conceptualize that. Okay, think about all the success that you guys have had in your lives this year, 2022. And think about the big global macro picture in 2022. It was a freaking horror show. It was horrible. I mean, right? And this is coming from one of the most optimistic people you will find, me. Okay, just 2020, 2021, and 22 on a macro picture was an absolute horror show. It was horrible. But even with that, think about all the things that you guys have accomplished, right? That's what I was thinking in my post analysis. I'm like, wow, I've accomplished all of this. I've closed X amount of deals and transaction volume with the wind in my face. Right? Think about you're walking into a wind tunnel. I always use the terminology as well. You know, a trout can't swim up a waterfall. We've been trying to essentially climb Mount Everest with 50 caliber machine guns barreling down at us for the last 3 years. Okay, so could you only imagine what you'll be able to accomplish once the economic tides turn and the wind is at our sails? It's just going to be ridiculous. You're going to have so much success. You're not even going to know what to do with it. You're just going to want to start giving it away because you can't handle it. This is the Ferrari dealership, but I guess you can't really call it a dealership, right? Maybe a showroom is more appropriate. Yeah, I think you could call it a showroom. Yeah, but just keep that perspective. Keep that perspective. You know, you've accomplished all this stuff in an environment of severe adversity. Could you imagine what you can do when the wind is actually in your sails, right? The wind is at your back. It's going to be amazing. Hey, Top G is here, touring different places. Good to see you. But we are now standing across the street from my favorite place in the city. It is the Seagram building in between East 53rd and East 52nd Street. Fantastic building there. We'll try to get a quick view up close and personal. Just Jennifer, good to see you. This is BlackRock, by the way, right here. JTJ says, how do these views look during the day? They look phenomenal. They look absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to try to start to give you guys some content during the day. I think it's going to be difficult, but thank you guys for taking that poll, by the way, on the YouTube community page. So starting very soon, we are going to have Walks on Wall Street coffee hour starting at 1 p.m. New York time. It's going to be a standalone video that will probably be around 20 to 40 minutes long. I'll leave it up if you guys want to check in, hang out, take a little bit of a break during the workday. We can leave the chat up, have a good time. But I also want to I'm going to post probably every Tuesday and Thursday standalone market updates as well.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to post the 2023 Walks on Wall Street schedule on the community page. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I forgot. Thank you guys for reminding me. But here we have the Seagram building. It smells fantastic because these are all real pine trees. Ian is here, says, hey Tom, are you going to be live New Year's Eve? I think we might. I'm going to give it about maybe an 85% chance we'll probably be live. But here's the thing. There's been so much construction going on. And there's so many tourists here that I think it's just going to be too crazy with the buffering. So I don't even think we'll be able to do it. But we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a try. Might as well. Now, we were live last year, but we didn't have any issues with the buffering. Maybe some of these cellular companies will be out in force fortifying the network. Who knows? Now, during major events, especially at sporting events, if you guys have noticed, if you've ever been to like a Yankee game, Giants game, or a hockey game, the carriers put out something that are called femtocells. Has anybody ever heard of that? Femtocell? Which they're mini sort of like air raves where they boost the signal. So I would assume they're probably going to be doing a lot of that too. Here's KPMG, and then you have Blackstone. Now, here's a prediction that I have about Blackstone for next year. I think that Steven Schwartzman may step down, and I think he may retire next year. Now, Steven Schwartzman, obviously the New York Public Library named Steven Schwartzman Building after his very generous donation. But he is a major, major titan on Wall Street, known for making a lot of his money in LBOs or leveraged buyout deals. Blackstone is right here. Hey, the ABX girl, welcome back. Good to see you. Dr. Longus says, I spend way too much time paying attention to politics, and it made me negative. This stream helped me reverse that. Oh yeah, dude, you got to cut every single negative, nonsensical thing. You got to just totally abandon that out of your life. That has helped me so much in my life. It's not even to be believed. Especially if you spend a lot of time on, Twitter and things like that. I mean, there's people who waste so much of their time arguing with anonymous avatars on Twitter about political jargon and political nonsense. It is such a waste of time. Yeah, you have to mute all of that stuff. Now, speaking of keywords that I have muted, I actually added a couple new keywords to my mute list. today on Twitter because my entire timeline right around 1 o'clock p.m. turned into, and I don't even follow any of these celebrities. It turned into this, just everything, this Andrew Tate guy, arrested. And I was like, I can't do it. So I blocked all of those keywords. And that is going to be a news cycle that is going to suck everybody's time well into the new year. And don't let it waste your time. Completely block it out, completely ignore it, and focus on what you got to do. Get in the game, get in gear, okay? You don't need to be focusing on some random guy on the internet. That's what I'd say. Hey, Beacon, New York, what's up? I saw that documentary, Money, Power, and the American Dream. I've seen it. It's a good documentary. Now, there's another one, but I forget the name of it that you guys need to watch. Maybe I'll try to do that tomorrow. I'm not really going to work tomorrow. I'm just going to come to the office and work on some stuff for the channel. So maybe I'll compile a compilation of really good videos I think you guys should watch. But it's a good one, too. Hey, too old to be gambling. People should be rewatching The Big Short. That's another good movie. I think it's a little bit too Hollywood for me, but it does give out some good core concepts. I think the book is a little bit better, though, for a little bit more technical. But I definitely do agree. Very good movie. It'll teach you a lot about the derivatives market on Wall Street. And I think that's one of the main things that helped cause the 2008 financial crisis. But, you know, I think one of the major things that caused the 2008 financial crisis was actually the government. But we're almost running up on time here. We don't have too much time to talk about it, but maybe we will again on another stream. But I think government incentives and government rules and regulations have helped fuel that fire as well. Also the Federal Reserve. I think there's a lot to pass the blame in 08, right? I think a lot of conflict of interest on Wall Street, especially with the ratings agencies. Now, if anybody remembers our live streams over the past 2 weeks, we did a huge deep dive into the bond market, right? Not only the sovereign bond market, government bond market, but also the corporate bond market too, where we've briefly discussed different conflicts of interest that could happen. Because as we know, there's two kinds of corporate debt, right? Two kinds of corporate bonds. Obviously, you have the investment grade, and then you have your non-investment grade debt. But how do we judge if this debt is investment grade or non-investment grade or junk? Well, you have the rating agencies, right? You have the ratings agencies, now one of which being Fitch Ratings, S&P, are probably the main two that you need to worry about. And now back in 2000 and I would say leading up to 2008, there was a lot of alleged corruption. I have to say alleged just so I don't get in trouble, where, you know, these ratings agencies were giving out AAA ratings when they really shouldn't be, right? Mainly because, you know, if you go to a ratings agency and you give a bad score, you know, the banks aren't going to want to do business with you and vice versa, right? So you give me the good ratings, I'll give you all the business. So you had some of these horrible, horrible, toxic derivative assets that were rated very, very highly, favorably, A, AAA, right? When they were actually a culmination of horrible, horrible non-investment grade, even down to the CCC level, extreme high default risk. Nicholas Duras says, Tom, you should keep talking when they blow their horns. I usually tend to do what I want, but I understand your concern. It's just with the new streaming software, I'm getting a lot of different, it says like buffering, so I don't know when we're buffering and I have to repeat myself or something, but I appreciate it. Hey, Pineapple Water, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I think we're gonna make a right here. We'll try to head back into Times Square if we don't buffer. We'll see. Yeah, Steve CR says Elon still owns Twitter, but he just won't run it. I'm interested to see the secession plan there, see who he's going to pick. Now, at one point, the former chief executive officer at T-Mobile was going to be tapped for the job. Well, I shouldn't say was going to be tapped for the job, but volunteered. John Legere. I think he would have done a really good job too. I think he was a fantastic CEO at T-Mobile. I think he's a really, really good marketer, a really good business guy. I mean, just think about the turnaround story with T-Mobile, with John Legere. I mean, very, very few CEOs could pull off what he pulled off with T-Mobile. Might as well enter the MetLife building. Hey, Susanna, good to see you. Yeah, FredEx is read 10. Definitely a 10 out of 10. Hey, Krog Dog says, Tom, you're right next to my office building. Lovely place to work. Must be amazing to work right on Park Avenue. It's fantastic here. Just Jennifer, good to see you. Slime of the Decade says, what's up, Tom? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Mike C says, John Legere seems very approachable too. He used to get on Periscope back in the day. Yeah, I mean, I think very, very few CEOs are, I would say, as open of a chief executive officer as he is, I would say. And I think you see the same things with Elon too, right? I mean, think about all of the CEOs out there. How many of them actually ask the audience, quite literally, in polls and things like that, about what you want to see? And he even, encourages participation from his critics, which is what a CEO is supposed to do. So I think John Legere would be good for the job. I don't know if he's going to get it. Who knows? Fun Feeds, thank you so much. Says well wishes for 2023. Thank you, Fun Feeds. Yeah, Kirby, you're right. All right, now we are in the main concourse here of Grand Central Station. Now, there is one other thing that I wanted to mention now that I'm remembering. Take a look at the Semiconductor Index, one of which is ticker symbol SOXX. And it's really performing rather horribly still. And I think if a lot of people are trying to look for bottom indicators such as, a massive blow off in the VIX, which I am also looking for, big spike in the put to call ratio, which we're actually getting right now, by the way. One of the other things I would look for is some very positive action in the semiconductors specifically. And one of the ways that you could track that is by looking at a broader based indice that tracks a lot of the individual stocks, one of which that I look at is SOXX. And we're still trading well below our major moving averages, the 200 and the 50. And the reason why I think I'm putting so much credence and importance on this is because pretty much every single major innovation and product that drives the economy. You talk about cloud computing, cell phones, right? Smartphones, tablets, EVs, AI. They all require chipsets or semiconductors. And if your semiconductors are being sold off and the earnings are declining in the semiconductor space, well, maybe we could use that as a leading indicator for the broader overall general economy. Because if semiconductor earnings are going down, right, and they're declining, well, what does that mean for a lot of the other OEMs and the manufacturers? Well, they're probably also going to decline. You're probably not going to be able to make as much iPhones if the demand is not there. But if these companies aren't ordering or manufacturing a lot of semiconductors, well, I think it's a pretty good leading indicator. Hey, TC is here. Good to see you. Welcome, TC. Coming up here on the Salesforce Tower. Big enterprise software company. Big pioneer in SaaS. Yeah, pineapple water, you're right. You need semis for everything. You're correct. Now, I've sort of said maybe, in a way, you could substitute the semiconductors for the Dow transports in the Dow theory. I think that may be more appropriate. Now, here we are standing directly under the One Vanderbilt building here in Manhattan. And directly in front of us, you see the Chrysler building. Touring different places. This is Tom. Thank you for the live stream. Thank you so much for joining. Now we're going to make one final push down to 42nd Street Times Square. Hopefully we don't buffer, but now that we're on 42nd Street, that'll take us right to One Times Square, which is actually the building where they dropped the ball on New Year's Eve. So we'll see if we could see it. The LT prods is how much lower will Dixie... Oh, that guy just bottomed out his car. LT prods is how much lower Dixie affect this quarter. How much will the lower Dixie affect this Q unless you're depressing? I'm trying to figure out what you're asking here. Well, I think overall companies were hurt by a stronger dollar, right? I think probably the most notable, but not exclusive to Apple, right? Tim Cook came on the earnings call and said, look, we would have had a double-digit revenue growth last quarter if it wasn't for the strong Dixie. I think it was about a 600 basis point hit to revenue because of the strong dollar. And that's just Apple alone, right? So I think it's probably a net positive for the Dixie to come down, the dollar to come down here. Roman says I'm an LG shop. No Apple devices here. Speaking of Stephen Schwartzman, here it is, the Stephen Schwartzman Building, New York Public Library. Crossing 5th Avenue. Maybe we'll see if the Bryant Park Winter Village is open. Dr. Longas, I do.
Look here in the eye.
I think probably Milton Friedman is probably best aligns with my economic theory, I would say. Oh, speaking of that, guys, I finally was able to set up the Substack page. Because speaking of Twitter, Twitter acquired Review about a couple years ago, and they're actually disbanding it and taking it down entirely. So I'm trying to migrate all of our old newsletters to Substack, and also migrate all of the emails over there too. So I just completed that, finally. We'll take a pit stop in the Bryant Park Winter Village. It's only going to be up for a couple, when? Oh, through March 5th. Whoa, that's actually really long. I didn't know that. Hey, Sabrina Fair, good to see you.
This is gonna be the most racist thing I ever said in my life.
Whoa, look at all the people skating. This is actually really nice. Ton of people skating tonight. NMB 045 says, Tom, do you have the link to Substack? I'll post it tonight because I have to post the 2023 schedule anyway. So I'll post the link tonight. But NMB 045, good to see you. Happy pre-New Year's Eve. A ton of people here, wow.
Attention skaters, can I get the guest Alexandria Rodriguez, please come to the Snowman Penguin area. Alexandra Rodriguez, please come to the Snowman Penguin area.
Well, that guy has the World Cup. You guys see it over there? The World Cup trophy. I think everybody's skating here because the line is so long at Rockefeller Center. But if you look all the way over here, that's the main fountain at Bryant Park. And it looks to be all thawed out too. If anybody remembers, a couple days ago, it was crazy my desktop. I think that's my favorite color scheme on the Empire by far. Roman says I must have missed it. I didn't get to vote on it. Well, you can still do it if you just click on the channel link and go to the community page. You're more than welcome to submit your vote. It'll be open, I think, for the next week. So feel free to do that. But I think this is my favorite attraction here at Bryant Park, the fountain. Look at the stark contrast here from earlier this week. Earlier this week, this thing was an entire block of ice. Hey, Tavo, says my grandmother Teresa always sees your videos from Argentina. Well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it.
On the ice. To use your device, please step off the ice.
This is a really nice shot of the Christmas tree, the ice skating rink, and the Steven Schwartzman building all in one. Hey, Edgar Sanderson, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And hopefully we see you here for more live streams in the future. All right, team, I gotta put you guys down because I gotta plug in the battery pack if we're gonna make it to see the ball in Times Square. So really quick intermission here. I think they should just set up a camera down there 24 hours a day so people can periodically check in. All right, team, onward, out and about. Good to see you. Let's see if we can make it. I really want to show you guys the numerals. So here's what you're going to see. You're going to see the 2023 numerals atop of the building, but they're not going to be lit up, obviously. We have to wait a couple days for that, but you'll still see them up there. Here we have the Whole Foods and Salesforce Tower. Pups is when are you going to Korea? You know, I don't know. I think probably sometime in January. I'm just not sure of the exact date because here's the thing, right? So I don't have a passport and it takes about, I think, 8 to 12 weeks to get a US passport. But if you already have your travel plans, hold that thought. This is the Bank of America Tower right here. Brian Moynihan's company. But if you already have your travel plans and you've booked your flight ticket already, you can get it in 14 days, but it's not guaranteed. So I have to wait 14 days, exactly 14 days before the date that I fly out to start the process. But then it's not even guaranteed to get it before you leave. Does that make sense? So the problem there is if I buy the ticket, which is going to be like $1,000, right? $1,300. I run the risk of not being able to get the passport in time to go. So I got to figure it out. The LT prods is you have to pay a lot more. No, it's like $100. It's not too expensive more, but oh, pineapple water. Everybody, I really appreciate your donations. Unfortunately, this streaming software, I could like barely see them. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you everybody who has donated. If I missed yours, I apologize deeply, I do. But you should see what I'm looking at. The comments are like so tiny and they go through so fast and you're not allowed to scroll through them. Hopefully Prism will be back up soon, or maybe I'll have to start a startup company, a streaming software company myself, and build it myself. Maybe that'll be a side project I'll do with some friends, because the options are horrible. You know, I think that would actually be a cool project. You know, maybe, and I could even crowdsource this, I could reach out to some of the top streamers on YouTube and Twitch and provide everybody some equity in the company. I'll hire some engineers and build our own streaming platform. And then maybe sell it to, you know, Google or something. Who knows? So this is One Times Square with all the scaffolding. But this is where they're going to be dropping the ball. So we will, if we walk a little bit further into Times Square, I could probably show you guys the 2023 numerals. So we will see. This is the H&M building. Out and about, what's up? Here's the NASDAQ where they shoot the squawk on the street. Man, Times Square is really packed today. Look at this. So you can see behind the main stage where it looks like there's some showtime going on. Hey, Cody is here. What's up, Cody? Good to see you. This is West 43rd Street. I think this should be far enough away where you can see it at the top. Let's see. Ooh, no, I think we have to get a little bit further away. Hey, DJ's reviewing under 2. What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. I think maybe if we stand on that corner, you guys will be able to see it. I could see it a little bit. DJs are viewing under two. Says, are people lining up for New Year's Eve already? Not yet. I think that'd be a little bit too crazy. Hopefully it's not as crazy this year because it's gonna rain. Well, at least I think that's what Julia said in the chat. It may rain quite substantially, downpour on New Year's Eve. But you can see the stage here. New Year's Eve Times Square, sponsored by Planet Fitness. Hey, Denise NYC, good to see you. There you could finally see it. So if you look closely right here, you could see the 2023 numerals. Obviously they're not lit up, but you can just barely see it. Dan Zhang says, every time I see Times Square, I remember the CD guys. Yeah, I mean, Dan, I haven't seen the CD guys in a long time, thankfully. But yeah, there's these, the good old CD guys, I guess. All right, let's, what are we gonna do here? Let's head out. I gotta go back to Pennsylvania Station. Now I think 3 Times Square is where the EY building is for all of our consultants out there. Yeah, I did hear about Pele. It's horrible. All right, let's cross by the NYPD precinct. No, Deborah, EY has an office here. I've been into it. I've actually had some meetings there. Maybe it's not the main one, but it's there nonetheless. I think it's right to the right of us. Dan Zhang says, I used to drive to the EY office at 3 a.m. to pick up my girlfriend when they were pulling crazy hours. Jeez. Yeah, I've had some meetings in there. I don't know how I'd like working in Times Square though. I think that'd be a little bit too much. Dealing with this every day. I don't know if I could do that. Deborah says their main building is on the border of Hudson Yards. You know who else moved to Hudson Yards, Deborah? So KPMG closed down their main offices on the east side of Manhattan. And they leased a ton of office space in the Hudson Yards. And I think that's going to be a continuing trend, is that a lot of, I would say, non-Class A office buildings are going to be completely vacant, I think. And I think it's all going to be crowded into the new luxury style buildings, and a lot of the older ones are going to be vacant. Now, there's been a lot of talk about converting those old office buildings into residential apartments, and we've talked about that idea a lot here on the channel, but a lot of them have asbestos, which is very, very expensive to remove. So that leaves a big problem. So I don't know how they're going to get around that. But I have a prediction. I think after January 3rd, the city is going to be an absolute ghost town for probably 2 to 3 weeks. Like it's just going to be like complete ghost town. Now it's usually like that every year. But I think this year is going to be a little bit more, obviously, because you have the hybrid work environment and all the tourists are gone. I think it's going to be kind of peaceful. It's actually maybe a little bit nice. Things die down from the holidays. Look at this line for Joe's Pizza. Holy crap. Now, I never knew this, everybody, but supposedly Joe's is like ultra famous for tourists. It's just regular pizza. I mean, it's good. It's a good pizza place. It's a good spot. But I don't know. I mean, in my view, I don't think it's worth this big line. I go to Joe's all the time, grab a slice. I think there's better pizza shops in the city with no line. One of my favorites is on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's called Made in New York Pizza. It's fantastic, that place. And you'll never have a line there, ever. But one of my favorite pizza spots of all time. Oh my gosh, look at the garbage overflowing here. One of my favorite pizza spots of all time is actually in Long Beach. It's called Francesco's. It's fantastic. That place is really, really good. But obviously you're gonna have to make a big trek out to Long Island. Hey, Melissa White, what's up? This is Tom. Elaborate on why it dies down after New Year's. Well, because all the the main, I would say, tourist times for the city is the holidays, right? Thanksgiving, you get a big boost. Christmas is huge. New Year's Eve is huge. And then you sort of go into this winter desolate lockdown of January and February, right? If you're a tourist, you really don't want to visit the city in January and February. It's just freezing, right? You want to visit, during the holidays. Right? Maybe you want to see the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. You want to visit during the summer when you could walk around and it's not freezing, right? Hey, Kevin says, hey, Tom, what are some of your favorite pizza spots in Manhattan? Well, Made in New York is a really good one. That's on the Upper West Side. That one's really good. I like Prince Street Pizza a lot. That's one of my go-tos. Now, that's really nowhere near here. That's downtown. But that is a really good place for a spicy pepperoni slice. The owners of Prince Street Pizza are actually suing the owners of Made in New York Pizza. Allegedly, they stole the recipe or something like that. But it's really good. Both of them are really, really good. Very similar style pizza. Maybe that's why they're suing, but those two are awesome. Those two are really, really good. Was my favorite pizza shop of all time? Now, DeFara, in Brooklyn's fantastic, but there's this place in Melville when I used to work all the way out east on Long Island in a town called Melville. And I cannot believe I forget the name of it. But that place was unbelievable. I think that was the best grandma slice I've ever had in my life. Right there. I'm trying to think of what it is. I used to walk there every day. Anyway, if anybody's familiar with Melville, right there on North Service Road by the big JP Morgan complex, it's right there. It's across the street in the same strip mall as the Starbucks coffee. It's right there. It's fantastic. I think I have to go there before I go back to Miami. I may have to take a trip all the way to Melville just for that. Somebody says there's no delicious pizza in the Pacific Northwest. Oof. Oh, Shadow Stock says, I know but don't know the name, worked HSIC headquarters in Melville. Yeah, it's so my office building was 395 North Service Road. It was the main JP Morgan building. I think that's where they make a lot of their loans, like the loan origination office. Man, that is a good one though. This is actually really getting to me that I can't remember. Let me think for a moment, and I think I'll get it. It's not Francesco's. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to Google it and look it up tomorrow. La Focaccia. Cosmo Scary comes in the clutch, man. My God. What would we do without this guy? Cosmo Scary. That's exactly the place. Yeah, it's called La Focaccia. You guys got to Google that place. This is a fantastic view of the Empire State Building. So if you're visiting Long Island during the summer, okay, don't go during the winter. It's a desolate wasteland. But man, that place is fantastic. That place is better than any pizza place in New York City by far. By far, it doesn't even compare. It is just the best place on earth. Wow, small world. Shadowstock used to work in Melville too. Yeah, so I was in like a hybrid environment where I would work at 1166. But my main office was Melville, but I needed to be in the action. I needed to be in the city. But that office was dead, by the way, too. It was even dead before COVID. There was nobody there. It was old. Supposedly, Jamie Dimon has a place in Melville. Cosmo, thank you so much for that, man. La Focaccia, fantastic place. You guys are making me hungry. I'm craving it now. I gotta go there. Hey, BMST Groups used to work in Melville in the early 2000s at a collections agency. Very nice. A lot of Melville workers. Ooh, BMST says boiler room stuff. That's not good. Beacon says Long Island is too suburban except for the Hamptons. The Hamptons is more suburban than the majority of Nassau. Yeah, Ren 1018 says Jamie Dimon is humming right along. Well, at the beginning of the live stream, you guys were able to see the inside from an aerial view of Jamie Dimon's new office tower on Park Avenue. Yeah, I think those are probably my go-tos. Or those ones right there. All right, we're coming up on Pennsylvania Station. I think we're gonna make the train right on time. Now, on tomorrow's live stream, I think we're gonna do something a little bit unique. I think we're gonna do a 2023 year in review on Wall Street, where we are gonna be covering all of the crazy and wild events, I should say the main events that happened. We'll be doing a walkthrough of a timeline of the events. We'll be talking about it. I think it'll be fun. And maybe tomorrow night, if it's even warmer than tonight, let's go to Brooklyn, might as well, right? I mean, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal at all. Let's go, right? Then we'll walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, back to Manhattan. We'll check out Wall Street. We'll check out the Christmas tree down there before they take it down. And then we'll end here, my friends, 7th Avenue and 34th Street. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the live stream tonight. I want to wish you and your families a very happy New Year's Eve. I know you guys had a lot of success this year. I wish that success overflows like a waterfall into next year. Stay tuned because we do finally have the Substack up. So we are going to start that back up in 2023 because Review canceled us. So stay tuned. Tonight I will post the 2023 Walks on Wall Street schedule. So if you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe to stay up to date on all of our live streams. Follow us on Twitter at Walks Wall Street, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey, Sunshine After Rain, thank you so much. Dusty Cole, NMB045, thank you so much. Figo, thank you. Shadowstock, thank you so much. Richard Vogel, Out and About. Penelope, Kathy Lyons, Michael Jr. Welch, thank you. Myra King, Susanna Q4, FredX, Dusty Cole, Sabrina Fair, Will M, Twitch ASMR, Young Nation 92, Cosmo Scary, Troy Atman, Rich Child 9, Alexis Garcia, Joan K, Too Old to Be Gaming, Sam Morgano, thank you. Zada, Austin City Limits, Vivian Francesca, Gary Carpenter, Derek Hammond, Mohammed, and to the Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere, and you just need to know where to look. All right, team, we'll meet back here at 8:30. See you tomorrow.